for Chris. You want to sit in a chair so you're comfortable?
No, we're good.
I think you should.
Has it got
We got it.
turning on?
Yep, we're good. We're ready.
We're ready. It's going.
We're all live.
Are we live?
Yep.
You caught me. Okay, hi. I'm Michelle Anderson from Awakening Code Radio here in Laguna Beach. And I'm sitting here with Robert Pope from Public Watchdogs and John Bollenbaugh, I said it right this time, from helpa.org. He is the oil whistleblower, and I hope you can all hear me. I can't see if anybody's joining in live with us or not, but please know that we really appreciate you, and we appreciate anybody that's going to tune in later. The ocean, you want to pan to the ocean, Chris? You can see it's a beautiful day here in California. It was one of our hottest days on record. We've actually broken some records here. You might want to get a little closer.
Yeah, with the waves.
I know that a lot of people have a hard time hearing over the ocean. So what we want to talk about today, and we are going to have both of these gentlemen on Awakening Code Radio tonight on KX 93.5. That's the local Laguna Beach radio station here. And what we want to do is really talk about exposing some of the things that are happening around the world in the oil industry and with the nuclear waste situation that's going on here. We're not here to be pessimists. We're here to bring us out of helplessness and into hopefulness through starting dialogue. We feel that it's really important to get the dialogue started because we have to know where the darkness is to shine light on it. Is that what you just said to me, John?
Yeah.
Right, and so we want to bring more awareness to what's happening. So what I'd like to do is start with Robert Pope from Public Watchdogs to give everyone a little bit of an understanding of kind of the intensity that's picked up around the time frame with our nuclear waste situation here.
All right. So I'm Robert Pope. I'm a geologist with publicwatchdogs.org, and what we've got going right now is at the San Onofre Nuclear Generation Station. They call it SONGS as the acronym. They're in the process of moving the high-level nuclear waste, the spent fuel, from the fuel cooling pools into canisters that are only 5/8 of an inch thick. They're stainless steel canisters that they call them cans because they're almost the equivalent to a beverage can, but each one contains 125,000 pounds of high-level nuclear waste. And they're moving these not into the vertical storage canisters that they've used 80 feet above sea level and inland from the beach, but they're actually storing them in what's the equivalent of a concrete egg carton at 15 feet above mean sea level is the surface elevation, and they're actually burying it within that, so the bottom of these cylinders, the bottom of the waste cylinders, is only about 3 feet above the existing groundwater table. And it's only at 1/3 of a football field from high tide over there at the state beach. And in the permit, they applied for a permit to the California Coastal Commission to get permission to do this. And in the permit, they actually acknowledge that the coastal erosion is going to make that area disappear over the next 100 years. But they were granted permission to bury it there anyway, because they promised at some future date, which they didn't have to disclose, they would remove it by means that haven't really been invented yet. So it's a situation that's going on that concerned us greatly. I want to acknowledge all the people that signed our petition to have the permit revoked. We had thousands of signatures of people that wanted to have the permission that the California Coastal Commission gave revoked. And Wednesday before last, we addressed the California Coastal Commission, and the 3 new commissioners, we really got their attention, and they helped us with the pathway to revocation of the permit. So we're working on that right now. And another way that the people can help us help you is visit publicwatchdogs.org, sign the petition if you haven't, and make a donation that can help us do the work in creating that permit revocation so it sticks and we get permission revoked.
This is the online petition to the California Coastal Commission to revoke the permit to bury the waste.
That's correct.
And that is on Public Watchdog's site. So that's one proactive thing that people watching this video that feel helpless and say, what can I do to help? Because we're all kind of going, are we kidding? That sounds crazy. And so we want more and more people to really take a stance. We're not sitting back just, saying love's gonna heal everything. We know that love does heal a lot of things, but we also need to take some action to let everybody know where our love is. And our love is for the earth, our love is for the water, our love is for humanity. And that's why I feel so strongly about supporting these gentlemen who are doing the work. Okay, thank you for that. That was a lot of information in a short amount of time. I hope people got it. A lot more information. Please check out publicwatchdogs.org. San Clemente Green has a lot of really good information as well, and so does San Onofre Safety. These three websites are the three websites that have the most current and up-to-date information about what's happening. Did you say that it could be buried as soon as November 1st?
That is correct.
Yeah, a lot of people don't realize. They think that this is a long time coming. This is going to happen way in the future. And that's why I want this sense of urgency out there, because the Southern California Edison could be burying this waste as soon as a couple weeks from now, November 1st. They're being kind of sketchy on when they want to bury it, and it's probably so that they don't want us to do a protest. They don't want us to do, an Occupy San Onofre, but we're trying to mobilize, to have concerned citizens actually take a stance and show up in mass. So we will be trying to get more information out to anybody who writes to any of these organizations. And I want to tie it into what John's doing with the oil industry and what you've been doing, John. You drove out here, a beautiful benefactor, one of our friends, I don't know if he wants us to say his full name.
Mark Sam?
Right, one of our friends, Mark, has donated a beautiful motorhome so that John can actually travel. He's made this his life's mission to get this information out and to let people know what's happening. He works for the oil industry and really saw some of the things they were doing that it's not honest. And they try to bury this information, and it's not on our news media. So John, will you talk a little bit about what you've been doing and what you've uncovered and where you want to go?
Well, we need to go solar and wind and renewable energy. That's where we need to go. I'm trying to team up with solar companies to get millions of homes so we can put solar on the roofs. That's the next stage. We have to try to prevent our waterways from being poisoned. We have to stop any pipeline from being put through a major waterway. It's a necessity because they always leak every day.
They always leak.
They get little pinholes in them, and they leak 50 gallons here, 10 gallons here. You just don't know they're leaking, not even the oil companies, because the alarms won't go off unless there's 1.5 to 2% loss of pressure in many of these pipelines. And why are we putting the XL pipeline through the largest aquifer in the United States? China owns TransCanada. Why are we putting a China pipeline through our aquifer? It doesn't make sense. Well, we actually have seen documents where they can suck water out of that aquifer and bottle it like Nestle is bottling water out of the Great Lakes. And so we have to do something about that. And it's a national security threat. Hypothetically, what if we go to war and they blow up pipelines that go through the Great Lakes, that aquifer, Missouri, Mississippi, 3 or 4 pipelines, we lose most of our fresh water in one single day. It could happen. This is serious. And so I'm just trying to, I want my video, this video right here, it's a free video. It's on my website. You can go to bigoilwhistleblower.com. And if you go here, watch the video, and I've had many grown men cry. It's a sad video, but it's eye-opening, and it will wake you up. We've had hundreds of sick people in my community because the largest spill in history for inland happened in my hometown, in my backyard. And I was a union worker, and I used to work for oil companies. And when I was seeing the cover-up, I kind of didn't really understand what's going on. And, you know, I thought it's just the way it is. And then they started lying about it and putting grass over it. So I turned them in, got fired the next day, and started receiving death threats and attempts on my life. And since then, you know, they called me a liar, and I'm not. I testified under oath, and I won my whistleblower lawsuit. I took a settlement, and I took that money, and I've been traveling around the country to tell people about what's going on. I have no gag order. I would not accept a gag order under any circumstance. And so now I need your help to help me and my organization tell the world about what's going on with big oil, and so we can help people in your community with nuclear. I want to be bigger than oil. I want to tell everybody about fracking, about nuclear. I want to go after pharmaceutical, vaccines. You know, I want to tell the truth about what our government and these corporations are doing to all of us. They're getting richer and we're getting sicker.
Wow, I commend you for what you're doing, and I think that's true. That's a really small snippet of the greater picture that you're talking about. You were able to really frame it in a short segment, because we don't have much time. As you can see, show how the sun just set. It just set over Catalina Island, and
What I would like to add real quick for everybody is, and this is a big deal, is they profit from oil spills. If they shut a pipeline down to fix it, they can lose $5 to $10 million a day. But if they wait 4, 5, 6 years and wait for the spill to happen, the insurance company hires them to clean it up. They most of the time own the cleanup companies and the cleanup materials. They buy the land in the local area because nobody wants to live in there anymore. They raise the gas prices, so now they profit from that. And then on top of all that, when the people get sick and have cancer and leukemia, they own the pharmaceutical companies, or they are tied into it. And then everybody buys bottled water because they don't want to drink that water anymore. So now they profit in that way. It's huge. This is a big, huge cycle that we don't have a choice. Your kids are not going to make it to their 50th birthday anymore. They're all going to have cancer, and they're going to have tumors, and they're going to die.
That potential is there. We don't want to use the language to lock them into that. Definitely. I'm really big on how we use our language, so I say the potential is there for that to happen. But that's why we're here. That's why we're talking about this, because we don't want to anchor that in. I know there were a couple people that might have had some questions, and before we lose the rest of the sunlight, just know, if you're watching this live video, or if you see this live video after the fact, Awakening Code Radio is on iTunes, and we will have this full discussion for 2 hours tonight from 9 to 11 p.m. live on the radio, and it will be a podcast that we can share with everybody. And I beg you to share this information, because I love living here, and I don't want to move, and there's no place else to go. I really love it here, and I really want everybody to understand the severity of this. I'm calling on divine assistance to help us save ourselves, you know?
The dolphins and the whales.
The dolphins and the whales need us, for sure. That's why there's so many mermaids here. Look, span that camera around and show all these beautiful women. Our mermaid sisters have shown up.
No, and besides the dolphins and the sea life and everything else, what a legacy to leave our children to clean this mess up, or to suffer the consequences of that nuclear waste. Because if it goes, we got 8.5 million people living between San Diego and LA, but with the southwesterly prevailing wind here, if something happens there, it goes all the way up and destroys the produce in the Central Valley, which supplies 50% of the country, the United States of America's produce. And so each one of those canisters, and Robert may remember how many there are, but each one of those canisters has enough a problem to equal Chernobyl.
One of the canister
There's at least 71.
Chernobyl
so it's 71,
size
at
radiation.
least a minimum of 71 times Chernobyl, right there, 7 miles down the coast here.
Yeah.
So I'm not trying to scare you, but yes, I am. We have to get you off the couch and do something about this. You have to become a whistleblower yourself. Even if it's a small part, you have to help. We all have to come together.
This is about unity consciousness. The more that we bring people together, we become the big guy. When we're cohesive and we're united, and who can't be united for wanting to live on a beautiful planet? This was a gift to us. This place called Earth, it's a beautiful jewel of a planet, and I personally feel it's my responsibility to tell people about what's happening, not in a finger pointing, I want blame game kind of thing, but what can we do? And so I think you had a question, right? You were asking a question I wanted Robert to answer.
Yes.
Yes,
I have a question. Basically, I'm trying to figure out, and I wanted to know if you know another thing that we could do to dispose of this waste, because obviously it has to go somewhere.
Yeah,
and what could we do that would be safer, healthier?
That's a great question. There's, as far as there's short-term solutions and the long-term solution. And right now, the way that we've taken it on as the United States is searching for our long-term solution was we've got the concentrated waste and we're trying to figure out where on the surface of the earth we can put it where it's safe. And the truth is we can't put it anywhere where it's safe, because that level of concentration of high-level nuclear waste, it doesn't exist naturally occurring in our environment because it isn't safe at that concentration on the surface of the earth. So what we need to do is find a way to break it down, reduce the concentration so that it becomes non-reactive and naturally occurring. Mother Nature gives us the answer. The minerals that contain uranium, the highest concentration of uranium in those minerals is 52% by weight, and then those minerals are scattered in the host rock, so that's only 0.11% uranium in that host rock, and that's safe, beneath the surface of the earth. So Mother Nature already gave us the answer, and we knew that when we were mining it. The only safe way to manage it, truly safe way, is to return it to those concentrations again in that form and reinter it below the surface of the earth.
Wow. And how far? How far down?
It could literally only be 20 feet down, and it would be safe if it were in those concentrations.
I have a question on that. How you would put it in that concentration, since it's all sealed in a container?
Yeah, we need brilliant engineering is what we need. We basically would need to create a robotics process that would disassemble it and break it down to small size portions, and then encase it in like a bowling ball sort of thing, and then inter all those bowling balls in like an open pit mine.
Was it before
like
done?
that.
Was it done before?
This would be a variation on France's way. France encases it in the glass, and then they do long-term storage with the glass, and that's pretty effective. So it'd be a variation on that, but it's costly. We're going to, a lot of the money that we made profiting from the energy, we're going to spend trying to manage the waste, and that's really how all energy resources are. There's the expenditure out front, and then there's the cost after the fact. And with nuclear fuel, you get a lot of energy for not much cost up front, but the cost after the fact we still don't have a handle on. We still don't know how to manage it.
And there are many nuclear reactor plants that are still in operation. Ours isn't in operation anymore because wasn't there a leak there?
There was.
So there was and they had horrible safety records from what I understand.
Yeah, they were the nation's leader in poor safety.
Poor safety right here in California.
Yeah.
But I do know that there are 60 nuclear reactor plants being built right now as we speak around the world.
Yes.
I went on a website and found that out. And a lot of these plants have no waste storage plant. So here we keep using nuclear. Solar is the way we have to go. Correct?
Right.
And that's what.
And there's a lot of other renewable energies that we can use, magnets and different things. There's things that I don't even know about that's coming out that are changing the world. But big oils, there's $80 trillion worth of oil in Canada alone, and they're trying to squeeze out that revenue before solar and wind take over and renewable energy. And that's exactly what's happening. They're trying to make as much money as they can, as fast as they can, and build as many pipelines the new pipelines that are being built are not for your cars. They're not to heat your home. They're for foreign export. 50% approximately of the fracking and oil that we actually produce is actually for foreign export. It's not for us. Don't let them fool you.
So I think we've given you a little bit of a taste of what we're going to be talking about tonight on Awakening Code Radio. We do music and conversation to raise the vibration. And I hope you will come listen to our radio program. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for tuning in. We really appreciate it. And please join with us and be united in really spreading our love for the planet and for humanity. That's what this is about. I don't want people to think that we're just here whining about pointing our finger at the big guy. But what we're doing is really trying to unite all of us to be on the same page.